All right, so we have got up to spring training here, and just to see if we can get a guy in a one-year deal, just because Ben Bowden here, who is a reliever that my scout really likes, OSA really likes as well, throws 95 to 97, a lefty, we could definitely use that. And the thing is, he's been effective in his career as a reliever with the Rockies, and I feel like it just makes sense where if you put this guy in our ballpark, he's going to be incredible. So might as well give this guy like a one-year deal. Never mind, he's not interested in playing for Ozzie Guillen. Wonderful. So Tyler Stevenson here is in free agency, and my scout very, very much likes him. He thinks he's a 70-grade catcher. He's had some really good seasons in Cincinnati, and then he got traded to Los Angeles, the Angels at the end of last season, and wasn't very good. So he's still here in free agency, and I just feel like having him and then Nola could be like our AAA catcher. I think that's the move here. So we're just going to try to get Stevenson a 2-year deal with the first year at $6 million and the second year at 7.25 on a team option, though. So if he just like absolutely tears the cover off the ball for us this season, I'll probably bring him back. If not, then we just buy him out. And I think I underestimated how long Marte is going to be out for, as he still has 3 months left and we are here in spring training. So Marte is going to get thrown on the old IL for 60 days. Same thing here with Charlie Neuweiler going on the IL for 60 days. But Brian Perez is back in time for the start of spring training, so hopefully he can get off to a solid start here in spring. Alrighty, so Max Carlson just partially tore his UCL here in spring, and that opens up a spot right away and also gets rid of a guy who could potentially be a really good reliever. And we do indeed get Tyler Stevenson on the team. The fan interest increases noticeably. The players appreciate his leadership. And we get a star catcher here on our team. Alrighty, so we have gone through here. It is now opening day, and we have gone through and set our opening day lineup. So on the pitching side of things, the rotation is Soroka, Dunn, Brian Perez, Gilbert, and Mason Bryant. While on the bullpen, it's Brandon Markland, Nathaniel Garabitos, Dean, Jose Raldufo, Jack Walker, Duke Brotherton, LJ Newsome, Eniel De Los Santos, and Ben Tompkins. While on the lineups, for the bats, it is Tyler Stevenson is our catcher, Dylan Dingler is the backup, first base Evan White, second base Juan Jerez, third base Ryan Cermak, shortstop Cesar Martinez. While Marte is out, Martinez will probably shift over to second once Marte comes back, because I played him at second in spring training to get his rating up. And Joe Burrows is going to be playing left to start the season. Jonathan Clase is actually going to be playing center. I feel like he's a better option at center field defensively right now than Jared Kellneck is, who is going to start the season in right field. And let's just, we're going to see if he's able to pick up right field rather quickly. Because as you can see here, he's declined pretty rapidly to the point where he's not a great defensive center fielder anymore. So I feel like Clase is probably a better bet to be playing right field, while Kellneck just becomes like a solid defensive right fielder, along with being just an incredible bat, because Clase just makes more sense to be a center fielder, in my opinion. And then we did have to DFA Bren Williamson to make room on the roster. Just felt like he wasn't really worth keeping around, and he probably won't get claimed, but he could. So if he does, it doesn't really matter. And then also Austin Nola is going down to AAA to be down in AAA with Daniel Susak. Maybe Nola comes up at some point to be like a backup first baseman as well as like a third catcher, but we'll have to decide on that if he clears waivers. And Austin Nola did indeed get claimed, as Cincinnati has picked him up, so he's going to the Reds. That's fine. We have a very deep catcher system now. Now that we've picked up Tyler Stevenson, I was not expecting to be able to get him, but we got Austin Nola just as a guy to be the backup catcher, but it turns out he ended up being like our fourth catcher. So now we've still got Susak down in AAA, and he is a guy who could eventually be a starter if Tyler Stevenson doesn't work out for us. And that's not good. Juan Jerez, who is our starting second baseman, just ruptured his Achilles tendon, and now we have to make a new, now we have to find a new second baseman. So Keith Ron Moss, who is still yet to serve a suspension down in the minors, is going to come up to be the next infielder. Alrighty, so it's April 14th. Charlie Neuweiler is ready to return from his injury, and we're just going to send him straight down to AAA because it seems like his rehab has kind of tanked him as a prospect. So we're just going to Put him in AAA right off the bat. Never mind, he needs to be on the 40-man. Can we just waive and DFA him? We have waived and DFA'd the man because he has not exactly proven that he's coming back from an injury. So I doubt he gets claimed, but if he does, that's fine. And then also, look here, Luke Hancock has been returned to us because the team that took him in the Rule 5 draft, which was Minnesota, did not want him. So we actually get another catcher, and we can now release Mike Zunino. Alrighty, so we are through the first month of the season. It is May 1st, and we are actually 17-17 on the year. So basically what we've been doing the past few seasons with a much younger, different lineup on the team now. We're 3 games out of the wild card, 6 games out of the West. The Rangers are actually off to a hot start this year. They have been doo-doo this entire time. But it seems like the bats have been okay to start the year. Like to see that. We've been not giving up any runs really either, as still a very good pitching team. Defensively, not the greatest, but still okay. I would like to see Clase pick it up here, but I believe he has been picking it up as of late. Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit better in April than he was, March. But I think he's been well, let's see, this week. This week he's been much better than last week, so that is good to see, because he is really the only guy we have available to play center field. We could call up somebody like Pat Anderson to play center, but do we really want that? Also, Victor Luna is in AAA, and he is a guy who, just strictly a right fielder. I tried playing him in left in spring, and he only got up to 30, so he's really just a right fielder. And I don't want Kellneck to be the center fielder anymore, so Luna's still in AAA until the spot really opens up for him. Rusty Bynum here has gotten off to a slow start to the season, but it's only 112 ABs. He hasn't had too many ABs in his major league career, and they call them up straight from high A. So he's basically learning on the fly here, but we trust him. Our scout thinks he's insane, so he's hopefully going to turn things around. He's 6'6", 230. He's going to start mashing here. Also, Joe Burrows has gotten off to a really good season as our left fielder, so that's good to see. He was our second-round pick in 2024. And then Kellneck still doing his thing, still being a very solid bat. Obviously taking a step back now as a right fielder rather than a center fielder, but it should help him out with injury sakes and also not being a great defensive center fielder anymore. Ryan Cermak here, our new third baseman, has also been quite solid at the dish to start the season, so that's good to see. And then there's our man Evan White, who once again is off to an extremely good start here, 156 WRC+, very good slash line, just being the insane first baseman that he is. I've also now guaranteed that Joe Burrows is the leadoff guy against right-handed pitching rather than Clase, because Burrows gets on base a lot, makes more sense to be the leadoff guy than Clase does. And I also made him as a bench player against lefties because his splits this year have not been good against lefties. It's only 24 ABs, though. But then his ratings, my scout thinks he really can't hit against lefties. So we're only playing him against righties. And then Christian Franklin is actually the one playing left field against righties, who did well for us at the end of last season. It looks like he's been doing decently well here in 44 ABs for the first month of the year. And Marte is now eligible to come off the IL, so we're going to throw him on a rehab assignment down to AAA, and he can get him geared back up and ready to be inserted into our big league lineup. Alright, so we took full advantage of Marte's time in the rehab. He played his full rehab assignment. Wasn't the greatest numbers down in AAA, but we are going to be calling him back up. And Brian Rocchio is the man who's going to be DFA'd and made room for on the roster for Marte. And that is about the worst news that we could possibly get right now, as Logan Gilbert, partially torn UCL, out for 8 to 9 months. He's been having a bounce-back year, too, which is not good to see. He's been very good to start the year, and now he is out for the rest of the season. Also, Aniel De Los Santos here is pending diagnosis on an injury, so hopefully that's not something that's bad either. Alright, luckily that's only just a sore shoulder, so he's not going to be out for a long time. We're actually going to make a off 40-man call-up here to replace Gilbert's, and this guy's going to be in the bullpen, obviously. This guy has been insane in AAA. We signed him as a minor league free agent, like, right towards the beginning of spring training, I believe, is when that was, and he is just, insane to start the year. So we're going to call him up here and see if he can continue that success in the major leagues. All right, so we are up to June 4th here, and it is the first-year player draft. And as you can see, we're actually above 500 here at the start of June. 34-30 on the year, currently a game out of the wild card spot, and 5 games out of the AL West, as the Rangers are still having a very good season here in 2027. And as you can see, the bats have been kind of struggling more recently. If you look at the averages, if we go here to the WARs. Bynum is still struggling here in his first season. Is he kind of picking things up, though? He picked things up a bit in May, but he's kind of not really... Well, you can't really judge him on June. So, yeah, he's picking things up a bit. Hopefully he can continue to figure things out. Tyler Stevenson has actually been really good as a bat for us, so that's good to see. Evan White is still hitting extremely well, so that's also good to see. Ryan Cermak here has kind of struggled a bit as of late, but he's still decent enough. And then Marte here, only 8 games that he's had in the Major League, so we can't really judge him quite yet. But defensively, he is still a plus ZR player defensively, so that's good to see. Joe Burrows is still getting on base a lot, leading off for us, having a great season as our leadoff hitter and left fielder. Clase is not really hitting, but he is a plus ZR player and a 2.91 range factor center fielder, so he's pretty solid defensively, so that is good to see. And then we've also got Jared Kellneck, who is struggling a bit as of recently. Definitely not what you're usually seeing from Jared Kellneck with these numbers, but hopefully as the season goes on, he's able to pick things back up and be more like the usual Jared Kellneck, like what we saw in April here. While on the pitching side of things, Justin Dunn has been very good once again. He's pitching extremely well, even better than he was last season. Brian Perez has been solid on his return from his torn UCL, I believe is what he had, so he's solid in his first year back from that. Soroka's been struggling a bit to start the season, so you don't like to see that. Hopefully he can pick things up as the year progresses. And right now we've got Nathaniel Garabitos and Ben Tompkins in as the 4 and 5 starters now that Gilbert got hurt. But in the 2027 first-year player draft, we have the 18th overall pick, and OSA thinks we're going to take starting pitcher Nate Fairchild from a JUCO in Arnold, Massachusetts. Do we take him? I don't know. We'll have to see once our pick is actually up. So it is now our pick here. We have the 18th overall pick, like I said, and we've got ourselves a few 80 potential relievers here. But once again, they are relievers. They'll probably be here for a few rounds, and also it's very easy to find good relievers. So it looks like our best shot actually is this Nate Fairchild guy. So he is the guy we're actually going to take here in the first round, 18th overall. Nate Fairchild. He did have quite a high bonus, though, so that is something to keep in mind as we are now into the second round. My scout, we used to take a catcher, Jose Castillo, who looks like he could develop into a really solid offensive catcher. Probably more of an offensive guy, though. Also, he is a high school player, so he's still very much away from the major leagues. I'm thinking I like this guy, though, better. He has a bit of a hard signability at 1.3 million, but I'm liking what my scout thinks of this guy. He could be a really solid starter. OSA thinks even better of him. So yeah, we're going to go with Jerome Pruitt here. Definitely some QC roots for this guy. Now we're into the third round here, and this last college reliever from Oregon State is available, so we're just going to throw a draft pick on him here, and hopefully we get ourselves just an absolutely stud reliever. Alright, so fourth round time. My scout thinks we should take Josh Krutel, a center fielder. Probably more of like a corner outfielder than center fielder. I don't like the low work ethic. He does seem like he could be a pretty solid bat, though, who gets on base a lot. He is quite a ways away from the major leagues, and he still has to develop all of these. I think we're going to keep things going with the pitchers here, as this CJ Flanagan guy, who is probably going to have a pretty good fastball, even a forkball here. I don't like the fact that his changeup is 20 out of 55. That might not develop, but maybe I don't take this guy because I don't like the changeup, actually. Yeah, we'll just take the guy that my scout thinks. We're just going to take Josh Krutel, the center fielder. Now we're on to the fifth round here. My scout believes we should take a starting pitcher, Mike Steria, out of Georgia Tech. I'm not really too high on this guy, That Flanagan guy is still here. We're actually going to take this Canadian first baseman, more of a DH, could place him first, though. He's going to develop some really high contact, really high avoid K, and we're just going to try to see if he can develop that and just become like an insanely good contact hitter. And now we're in the 6th round. This Steria guy is still here, so we're just going to take him. Now I'm going to take this extremely high-range, high work ethic, eye discipline shortstop at a high school in Philadelphia, Kevin Thompson, here in the 7th round. And my scout keeps recommending this Chris Head guy, who seems like he could have a decent hit tool, probably more of a DH than anything, but we'll throw a draft on him here as a 17-year-old, about to be 18, in the 8th round. This lefty at a Pepperdine could be a pretty good control, 3 decent pitch, more likely 2 decent pitch with this changeup that I don't particularly like, but he is really the best pitch selection available here out of the guys. So we're going to take Josh Means here in the 9th round. And then in the 10th round, we're going to take this lefty guy here who's got a potentially really good fastball, curveball, slider trio, decent control, decent stuff. Throws 95 to 97. Looks like he is coming out of a JUCO college in Texas. JUCO college is redundant, but you get what I mean. Now in the 11th, we're going to take this college reliever, Eddie Dandy Heaton here. He throws 101 miles an hour. Just kind of take a shot on him being a solid reliever for us. Here's another high-contact, avoid K-type player out of Jensen Beach High School in Florida. We're taking him in the 12th round. Now I'm taking this college outfielder. Looks like he could play a decent outfield. He's fast, high avoid K, decent defensive ratings, can also play some first base if we need him to, in Michael Schuer here in the 13th round. And now here in the 14th round, we're going to take this Manny Lopez guy at Mississippi State. Looks like he could be a decent power-hitting, extremely good arm third baseman. And now here in the 15th, there's not really anybody who's jumping out on me here, so we're just going to auto-draft the rest of it. And that's not good. Now Marte has been diagnosed with a sprained ankle. He's out for 5 to 6 weeks. We're going to get a bit crazy here with the call-ups, as this guy, Milkar Perez here, who is somebody we've had in our system since the beginning of this series. In real life, he was a 2018 international free agent signed by the Mariners. He was a top prospect for a while with us. We decided not to bring him back 1 year, and then he ended up signing a deal with the Santa Fe Fuego, and just absolutely, like, lit it up with Santa Fe. So I was like, hey, we'll just buy him back, put him in AAA, was pretty good, and he's been really good to start AAA this year, so maybe he's just one of these guys who's not really viewed highly. We're going to throw him at third base, and shortstop, will be somebody, probably either Martinez, and second base will be Cermak here, and Perez will play some third base. Alrighty, so it's Cermak at second, Perez at third, and Cesar Martinez here is the shortstop, while Marte is out recovering from his injury, while Keith Ron Moss is the backup infielder. And we've got ourselves another injury, as Mason Bryant here, one of our pitchers, is out with a sore shoulder for 5 weeks. And we're going to call up Ismael Aquino, as he has been the AAA closer this year. He's been very good. Let's give him another shot in the big leagues. Alright, so we just got the expiring personnel contract here. I went through and offered everybody, and then on the Major League staff, we gave Morandini an extension, Dipoto an extension, and Kevin Seitzer is a guy who we're probably not going to bring back for next season, because I just feel like we could probably get ourselves a better hitting coach. So 65-year-old Kevin Seitzer is probably not coming back. And we are currently sitting at exactly 42-42 on the year, 3 games out of the wild card, 11.5 games out of the West, because the Rangers are just running away with the division at this point. And we're on a bit of a slide here. We just beat Boston, but we had a bunch of losses, or we had a win streak, and then a bunch of the losses before that win streak in a row. Also, we want to make a few changes here to the order, or to the lineup, as the Perez experiment has not really worked. So he's going to go back down to AAA. Martinez here is really not getting the job done at shortstop either, so we really have to find ourselves some infielders. I signed Colton Wong to a minor league deal because he's been like an effective player even at just last year. Like this year, he's only been in the minor leagues and he's hitting the games he's hit in, but he hasn't played much. Whereas if you look at his major league stats, I mean, he was even effective last season. He had a 2 WAR last year, got on base a decent amount. I mean, that's not a bad slash line. And even if I go to his fielding stats, he hasn't been great in AAA. He's been about a league average. Like, he was even above league average fielder even just last year for Washington. So I'm kind of tempted to call up Kolten Wong and just see what we have in him, because we don't really have any other options to call up for infielders. So yeah, I think we're actually going to send down Martinez as well as he goes to AAA. And we're going to DFA Perez to make another spot open on the 40-man roster. And we're just going to call up Kolten Wong just to see what we have in him, play some second base for us. And then we're going to call up this Juan Corneal guy. He's a switch hitter, has a really good eye. If anything, he should at least be able to walk a decent amount and play a solid defensive shortstop for us, or at least an average defensive shortstop. And I just cannot continue to play Jonathan Clase, as he's just too poor of a bat to keep playing. So we are going to throw him on to be the fourth outfielder here. Christian Franklin's going to go down to AAA, and Victor Luna, who is playing very well this year in AAA, is going to come up and be the right fielder for us. As Kellneck just going to go back and play some center field, because it's just the best alignment we have at this point in time. Yeah, so here's the outfield now. Burrows is in left, Kellneck is in center, and Victor Luna is the right fielder, and hopefully this is going to be a spark to the offense, and Kellneck is going to be able to play good enough defensive center field to be able to, not be awful. Here's what the lineups look like now. We've got Victor Luna in right, Kellneck in center, Burrows in left. Hopefully Kellneck's going to be able to play at a decent enough defensive center field to not be terrible, and then also we've got Corneal playing shortstop and Kolten Wong playing left, while Moss is the backup infielder. Oh yeah, also we are going to send down David McKay here, as he is giving up way too many home runs, just throwing batting practice in his 9 innings that he's had in the major leagues. So he's just gonna, okay, he's out of options. He's just getting DFA'd, and we are going to call somebody else up from AAA. And that somebody is going to be Jason Savacool here, basically a long, he can be a starter, he can be a reliever, going to be a reliever for us. He's been very good in AAA this year, and we actually have to make room on the 40-man for him, but that should not be an issue. Actually, we're not going to call him up. We're just going to call Patrick Pridgeon, because I forgot that he was in AAA. He's been starting down there. We're just going to give him a shot up in the big leagues here, get him back up in Seattle. So here is what the arms look like in the big leagues right now. We got Pridgeon and Tompkins as the 5th and 4th guys in the rotation, and then here is the rest of the bullpen. All right, so it's international amateur free agent time, and this Sergio Hernandez guy is interesting because they think he could have extremely good power. The thing is, the rest of his stats aren't going to be anything. Or there's this Alex Corral guy who's he's more of a well-rounded player, also not a great defensive outfielder. So do I really want to take a chance on somebody like that? Probably not. So I think we're just not going to offer anybody in international amateurs this year. None of these guys really interest me, so we're just going to not offer anybody. All right, Mason Bryant is back from his injury, so we're going to throw him on a rehab assignment down to AAA. And Marte has returned from his injury, so we can throw him on a rehab assignment down to AAA as well. And the All-Star teams have been announced. Justin Dunn made the All-Star team yet again for us. Actually, I think that's his first All-Star team, isn't it? Yeah, that's his first All-Star selection, despite being extremely good for us last year. Finally made the All-Star team. So it looks like it's probably going to be him and Kellneck, as it doesn't seem like we have any other star pitchers. Yeah, it's Tyler Stevenson made it as a catcher. And Kellneck did not make the All-Star team for the first time since we've had him. So it's just Tyler Stevenson and Justin Dunn. As Kellneck, I believe, has been on a hot streak as of recently. It looks like he just cooled off. But Kellneck has been hitting much better recently. His WAR is up now almost to 3. Not what you usually see from Kellneck, but he is having a bit of a down season. But still, even his down season is still extremely good. And Jack Walker was just diagnosed with a sprained ankle. He's one of our relievers, one of the lefties in the pen for us. So we're going to throw him on the IL and then make sure that we call up a lefty to replace him. And I believe that lefty is going to be Jay Groom, just because he's the best lefty we have available. So Jay Groom from Barnegat, New Jersey, welcome back to the big leagues. All right, so the Colton Wong experiment not working. We're gonna waive in DFA. We're probably just gonna release him, to be honest. Yeah, we're just gonna release Colton Wong, get rid of him. And Marte is gonna get called back up. He's had a few rehab games, and now he's back to being our shortstop. And I like how often this Juan Corneal guy gets on base, so we're just going to keep him on the Major League roster as like our backup infielder. Alrighty, so it is July 29th now. It is the trade deadline, and we have some decisions to make here because, as you can see, we are a team that has no chance whatsoever at winning the division. The Rangers have completely just sealed this up unless they have some massive collapse here in the rest of the year. But they have a 17.5 game lead on us in second place. They're 70-38. Our only shot is the wild card, which we are still in, only 5 games out of a spot. And it's not like the first place team has a huge lead in the second place team either. It's just the real question is, do we want to really try to buy? If I did, it would just sort of be like, you know, for like a rental guy, really not selling out, really just trying to buy guys we can just give them anything for and just maybe help out the team for the rest of the season.